Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video we're going to be going over day one of US Nats, so you can get a little bit of recap before day two starts today. We'll talk about the meta, what heroes did well. We actually have the win percentages of like the CC format for day one, and then we'll talk about the undefeateds and what it looks like going into day two. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. Before the video even starts, I'm going to get one out of the way. I've been sick all week, so if I cough off to the side, I apologize. I try to hold it back as much as I can, but we're going to get right into it. So this is US Nats. This is the day of High Seas releasing, and also the first major event post a lot of the banned and restricted announcements, and the first major event post, really the first major event post like some of the heroes LLing, so we can kind of see, you know, past ProQuest season, how things are going to shape out. So it was really interesting to see, you know, who would bring what. A lot of people have a lot of assumptions on the perceived like better decks in the format, so on and so forth. When it came to the day one meta, I think it's 511 players, 512-ish if I remember. It's just over 500, remember properly, but this is how it shaped out. Florian being the top deck, no surprise. I still think tit for tat, Florian's the best deck in the format. Some people disagree, and that's completely fine, but I think just over across the entire matchup spread, I think it's still the best deck in the format. Syndra being second to me, it's not surprising that she is highly represented. She's a very good deck in the format right now. I just didn't expect her to be second. I expected like New and Arachne to be up there, and the reason they're probably lower is because a lot of assassins probably were picking between the two, so like it, you know, both of them being relevant at the same time probably hurts the other in terms of like single number representation, because if you think about it, those two combined for 61 as far as picking an assassin, and then you have Arachne slip through the cracks. So like really, you know, the top three assassins covered 84 players, which is a lot, but I was expecting them to be a little bit higher. So Syndra being second is a little bit surprising in terms of like overall number. Azalea being high is no surprise. Very, very strong deck right now. Prism being high is no surprise. Kind of goes on from there. Gravy was the interesting one. We were there it is again. Some people were saying we could see a lot of Gravy. I promise that's the last one from it. Some people were expecting Gravy to maybe be like top 5, top 4 most represented deck, and then some people were like, okay, we'll kind of see. I think where it ended up is pretty standard for what people were expecting, though, for the most part. Kano being up there as well. A lot of these like top 10 decks were the perceived best decks in the format. Other notables we have, where is she at? Puffin is at 13 represented, and then finally probably the least perceived better deck of the three, Marlin, is at 8. We also have 7 Iroh, which is cool to see. 1 Max, you are a brave soul. 1 Teklavossin, 1 Uziri, and so on and so forth. Also only 9 Katsu. I'm not saying Katsu should be like a top meta pick or anything like that, but I was expecting a little bit more. I thought you'd get a little bit more hype for the unban of bonds. I thought Katsu would be in like the 13 to 15 range, but it's not that big a deal that he's not that high. I'm not saying he should be higher. I'm just surprised that he isn't higher, if that makes sense. So this is kind of the meta breakdown. This is the win rates for day one. Verdansk actually had the best win rate. Now, I had Verdansk in the okay deck category, right? I put her in day one drop as a joke. Well, I made that tier as a joke on Twitter, and some people were getting upset about it, which is really funny. But in my video yesterday, if you watched it, I talked about, you know, decks that aren't bad decks. Like if they flipped up across from me, I wouldn't be like, okay, they're just playing for passion or anything like that. But I didn't see Verdansk as a top deck. I thought Gravy Bones coming up would give her some issues. Prism can give her some issues. Aggro can push past her. I thought it's a very difficult deck to play that you have to play perfectly in order to win. However, most of the Verdansk's did really good. She had a 60.6% win rate. The top 3 win rates were technically Verdansk, Victor, and Bolton. But when it comes to significant matches, kind of the 3 better decks were Verdansk, Florian, and Kano. Verdansk had 94 total matches. Florian had 305. Kano had 115. Kano having a 54% win rate over 100 plus matches is pretty good, because most of the time we don't get to see Kano in like a highly represented situation. Usually it's like 1 or 2 Kanos, right? That does really well. Even in metas where people are like, Kano's really good right now, you won't see a lot. Like Kano normally in a breakdown like this would be at like the Dash IO area, like 11-9, right? But it's a lot of Kanos, and they're doing really well. 54% is pretty good. Azalea at 54% as well. Levia actually doing pretty good, even though it's very small amount of matches. News holding her own, so on and so forth. And then we kind of go down. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Katsu actually did really bad. 45 matches, 35% win rate. Sucks to see. I think the deck is better than that, but we'll have to see as time goes on. Maybe it'll get better. Puffin didn't end up doing too good. 65 matches, 36% win rate. Kind of going up from there. Syndra had 203 matches at a 42% win rate. Syndra continues to be a hero, and this is including me, because I think this too, that is perceived to be very good, perceived to be like one of the better decks in the format, but consistently, once she got over those initial event wins, has consistently struggled heavily at big events. But even after those struggles, people still think she's one of the better decks. It's very interesting. It's something that's worth talking about at some point. Ira down there at 44%. Jarl, stuff like that. Gravy Bones, 45% win rate at over 120 matches. And then Marlin also is at 36 matches, 41% win rate. So nothing too crazy. Kasai had a pretty good win rate as well. I said that yesterday. I think Kasai's in a better spot than people realize. But this is kind of where the win rates are if you want to screenshot this. And then we had the day one undefeateds for CC. I also have the technical day one top 8, or people who are in top 8 after a draft. I'll go over that in a second. But as you can see, Gravy Bones sitting at the top. Austin Summers, watched that game against New. Fantastically piloted, insane. I won't spoil it. Go check it out on the stream. Really, really fun game to watch. But Austin did a really good job. Austin ended up going 5-0 in CC, and then also ended up going 2-1 in draft. So ended up 7-1. We have a Vincent, Jeffrey, a New, one Syndra, Dylan Williamson, Mark Bradshaw on Fang, Majin Bay on Verdance, John Gibson on Kano. We have 2 Florians and a Prism. So in the top 10, we have 8 different heroes, which is pretty nuts, right? Then you go down, keep going down. We have Azalea represented by Sebastian, Kasai represented by Bryce, and then we have a Victor at Matthew Vore on Victor, and then Justin Irby. So in the top 16, undefeateds, like there's 16 CC undefeated decks, right? And of those 16 in day one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different heroes out of the total 16 undefeated CC heroes, which is pretty significant. Like that's nothing to overlook on like how well we have some of these heroes doing. When it comes to top 8, I don't have a graphic for this. I was just going to go over it. When it comes to like when you combine CC and draft, Lucas Oswald's in first, and he's on Verdance. Majin Bay ended up continuing to do good after finishing 6th in CC and went undefeated in draft as well. They're the only 2 undefeated players post day 1. Lucas Oswald's on Verdance and Majin Bay's on Verdance. So technically Verdance is 1st and 2nd right now. New by Bird Cabrera. She did an amazing job on New. Randy Davis on Florian. Grant Huddleston on Florian. Joseph McKinley on Prism. Austin Summers on Gravy Bones. And then Matthew Vore on Victor. So right now we technically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different heroes in the top 8 post day 1. So really excited about that. But yeah, day 1 was really fun to watch. I'm excited to see kind of how it unfolds going forward. There wasn't like any insane surprises. I mean, I guess where I ranked heroes, like I was not expecting Verdance to do that well. It'll be interesting to see how many Verdances, like what the conversion rates look like and how many actually made it through. But based off the win rate, they probably did do pretty well. But regardless of that, super excited. I love how LSS has the ability to we can actually get these type of breakdowns now because they show who won what. And then once top 8 happens, I'm assuming they're going to do what they did last time at a big event and release deck lists via the hyperlinks, which will be really nice to see. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this type of content. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the chat for day 2 of U.S. Nationals. Really fun event. We also have the calling starting up, so that'll be fun to watch or follow, I guess, as well. But thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk.